Okay, question number one, which I have here on my iPhone, is first, section 1A, what were your reasons for joining the Peace Corps? So, perhaps it would be best if I somewhat explain what the Peace Corps is before explaining exactly why I wanted to join it. The Peace Corps is a federal government agency which has been around since 1963, I believe, 1961. And it offers American citizens the opportunity to work abroad for 27 months in predominantly underdeveloped countries. Costa Rica, perhaps as an anomaly to that case, because it's a more developed country. A lot of Americans come here on vacation, honeymoons even. Celebrities like to come here even. So why are we in Costa Rica? The Peace Corps has had a presence in Costa Rica since 1963, so it sort of has a long-standing relationship with the country, and they just sort of keep the relationship going. But about half of the volunteers in Peace Corps worldwide are in Africa, and there are lots in Southeast Asia, and then throughout Central and South America. Altogether, there are about 8,000 volunteers throughout the world at any given moment, and we work in about 70 countries, I believe is the number right now. They're constantly changing. For example, last year they had to evacuate the Ukraine, and they recently created a program in Kosovo, so the numbers always change. And the idea of Peace Corps is that the volunteers who are accepted into the program serve in a wide range of projects for their 2-year service. You can specifically be a TEFL volunteer, teacher of English as a foreign language, so you only focus on teaching English. Some countries also have a lot of public health and HIV/AIDS awareness programs. You also hear a lot about rural infrastructural development, so kind of working on small wells and bridges and building a community center. Very tangible physical things like that. My project is called Youth Development, so it's sort of like a lot of social work. I imagine that one of your further questions gets into that, so I can talk about that more later. Another program that we have here in Costa Rica is community economic development. So some volunteers work with small businesses to develop small industry within their local communities. And maybe this is getting into too much detail, I'm not sure, but why is service 27 months long? That's sort of a funny number. The idea is that when you arrive in country, you receive 3 months of what is called pre-service training, PST. And during those 3 months, you live with a host family and you receive language classes. In my case, that would be Spanish. And you also get classes on how to perform your service that you will be doing during your 2 years of service. So I had 3 months of training during which I lived pretty close to San Jose, which is the capital of Costa Rica. And then I arrived in July of 2013. And then in October of 2013, I moved to Cervantes. After pre-service training, each volunteer is assigned a community, and then you move to your community and you are there for 2 years altogether. So you have a 2-year period of service, 24 months, plus 3 months of training that's at the very beginning, so 3 months plus 24 months gives you 27 months. And why did I join the Peace Corps was the original question. Why did I decide to embark on this 27-month adventure? I thought that the program really aligned with a lot of my personal interests and professional goals. I went to Tulane University in New Orleans, which maybe some of you in New Jersey have heard of because like half the student body there is from New Jersey. But I studied political science with a concentration in international relations. And while I was in college, because I had this international relations focus, I studied abroad 3 times actually. One summer in Guadalajara, Mexico, one summer in Valparaiso, Chile, and for an academic year, my junior year, in Rome, Italy. And actually in high school, I also studied abroad through Rotary International near Cologne, Germany. So I studied abroad a lot, and I loved learning foreign languages and inundating myself in a foreign culture and getting the whole immersion experience. And that is sort of what Peace Corps is, but on a professional level. And so I really wanted to do that. And I also had Peace Corps on the back burner of my mind for for years, ever since high school, I'd kind of had thoughts of joining the Peace Corps. And knowing that I wanted to join the Peace Corps, I sort of realized after I graduated undergraduate, it was sort of a now or never opportunity. It was, either probably do Peace Corps now when I don't have any kids or dependents, I'm not married, I don't have anything really tying me down, I don't have a job or a house. And so, I could join Peace Corps now and do it when I'm young and free. Or, eventually I would get a job and get more a house or whatever material possessions that would kind of tie me down. And I figured that, all that would snowball and I would never be able to go in the future. So I felt like there was somewhat of a sense of urgency about doing Peace Corps now. Also, Peace Corps professionally aligns with my own personal development because I graduated from undergraduate knowing that I wanted to get a master's degree in public policy, which is sort of the career track to eventually work for the government. And I also knew that being a Peace Corps volunteer would greatly help my personal development, but also my resume as far as applying to and getting into graduate schools is concerned. And luckily that did go over well. Since being in Peace Corps, I applied to Harvard's Graduate School of Government, the John F. Kennedy School of Government, and I got accepted about a month ago. So I eventually will be going to Harvard for graduate school. So that long answer is why I joined the Peace Corps. And we have another question in question 1. What is the most significant thing you've learned about yourself? I think that I have most learned how to keep myself busy. I feel like that's not the most stellar answer, but I don't mean that to sound as maybe superficial as it came off. In the Peace Corps, you don't have direct supervision. I have bosses, but they're in San Jose, and they're in charge of a large body of volunteers. There are 125 volunteers in Peace Corps. And so on a day-to-day basis, since I am the only Peace Corps volunteer in my community, I am not really accountable to anyone. It's sort of like I have found a way to produce work for myself in the community. And so that involved at the very beginning of me arriving in Cervantes, me going to the elementary school and meeting and greeting teachers, and going to the high school and meeting teachers. And I was also put in touch with a drug and alcohol rehab center that's nearby my site. That's exclusively for teenage boys. And I just started getting all these connections to different places and talking to people and kind of explaining who I am and trying to work with them to develop work. And so I feel like I came here with no agenda and with no real assignments and nothing specific that I had to do. I mean, I'm in youth development, which means I should be working with kids. And they would prefer that I not specifically teach English because there's other volunteers who are dedicated to that. So instead they were sort of like, well, help raise the school retention rates in your community and help decrease drug and alcohol consumption rates in your community. But that is so broad and ambiguous. It's like, how exactly do you do that? So I guess I've learned about myself that I can just be able to find a way to accomplish really broad goals and find ways to keep myself busy in order to do that. You have a lot of time in Peace Corps. I think that was also another thought that crossed my mind when saying, like, what have I learned about myself? Because I've also read a ton of books since being here and seen lots of movies, and I was good about running, but that kind of fell apart. And then also applying to graduate school took up a lot of time. So, I don't know. I feel like that's a really not ideal answer to that question. If I think of anything else, I'll get back to you, though. I hope that kind of touched on a good answer, though. So we have 2 more questions, and question number 1. Are you sad to leave Cervantes? So, this is anticipating things a little bit, because I should be in Costa Rica for another 3-ish months. My tentative close of service date is August 3rd of this year. And am I sad to be leaving? Yes and no. So I recently was assigned this close of service date, so I still have a lot of like fresh emotions about like, well, I'm leaving and it's so soon, and like I can't believe that like I'm just incredulous to the fact that I will actually be leaving Peace Corps, because when I came in, I was like, 27 months, that's forever. Like, no way am I going to actually survive this experience. Part of me thought I would have to go home early just because I wouldn't be able to make it. And lo and behold, I did make it, so that's good. But right now I'm sort of in this like emotionally overwhelmed state. But I think in general, I'm really excited to be leaving, not because I will be leaving Costa Rica, but because I know that my next step in life is that I will be teaching English in Madrid, Spain, for the upcoming academic year. So I'm going home in August, and then I need to get some visa paperwork taken care of, and then I'll be flying to Spain in September. So I guess that's more than I'm really excited to be going on to the next step in teaching in Spain. But I'm also kind of getting anxious, nervous, kind of scared about that transition, because really I've been in Costa Rica for almost 2 years. Right now I'm in my host family's house, and I've been living with the same family since October of 2013. I haven't even lived with my own family for that long a period of time in years. And so this is my life. This is what I'm accustomed to, and what my life has been for the last almost 2 years. And so it's kind of weird to think that I'm going to have to abruptly end all of this, and then also know that I will never have this again. Like, I presume that I will come back eventually in the future to visit my host family, because we're close and everything, but like, I don't know when I'm coming back to Costa Rica. So it's really crazy to think about that when I leave, I'm going to leave, be gone for good. And so that's, I don't know, just really shocking in a way. But overall, no, I think that I'm very ready to leave, but I don't want that to mean that I am eager to leave necessarily. I've really enjoyed my time in Costa Rica, but even though I came in thinking 27 months was a really long time, I always knew that 27 months was finite and that it would come to an end. And so I always had the mentality that, you know, I'm going to be here for 2 years, enjoy it, move on. And I feel like I have been here and I've enjoyed it, and in 3-ish months that I'll be ready to go. So although I am anxious, nervous, excited, overwhelmed, I think when it finally comes time to leave, you know, I'll leave on a good, contented note. Okay, this is becoming a long video, my apologies. But last part of question 1. Do you miss anything about the United States? I do, of course. I am very lucky as far as Peace Corps volunteers go, with my location of service. So not only am I in a developed country, one of the most developed countries in which Peace Corps volunteers serve, but I'm also geographically close to the United States, which not only means that it's easier for friends and family to come visit, but it also means that it's easy for commercial goods to come down to Costa Rica, including brands of cereal that you would recognize, or candy, or they have peanut butter here, which is not ubiquitous throughout the world. So a lot of foodstuffs I can get here, and so although a lot of people really like to reference food as something that they miss, although I often don't get to eat necessarily what I want every single day. If I ever do really have a craving for like a peanut butter jelly sandwich, or oh, I really want pizza, or I really want Chinese food, I have access to all of these things here in Costa Rica. But that's sort of the country at large. In my house specifically, there are a few amenities that I'm missing, including hot water, which I dearly miss. I have to take like icicle showers every day. It's rough. And I also, you probably can't tell because my bed is made, but it's my bed. I don't have a real mattress. I have a foam pad that is less than ideal, and that is something that I'm really ready to upgrade. So, yeah. Also, I'm kind of over this, but this is occasionally kind of annoying because it makes the bathroom smell really bad. But the Costa Rican sewage system can't support toilet paper down the pipes. So you can't throw your toilet paper down the toilet bowl. You have to have a trash can in your bathroom that is specifically for dirty toilet paper. Which, like I said, usually actually isn't that big of a deal, but occasionally if you're the one who has to take out the dirty toilet paper, it's annoying, and sometimes you get a really bad whiff. So those are some particular amenities that I am ready to upgrade. In general, it's also kind of difficult socially, somewhat, in Costa Rica, although that's not due so much to the country as the nature of the Peace Corps. Since the bulk of my friends here are other Peace Corps volunteers, and yet every Peace Corps volunteer is in his or her own individual community, that makes it hard to physically go and see your friends and meet up. But it also makes it a very special occasion whenever you do see them. But that was somewhat of a difficult transition because I came directly from undergraduate to Peace Corps. So I went from living in a dorm and having my friends up and down the hallways to now having to travel like 2 hours by bus to go see a friend. So I'm ready to be closer to close friends. Obviously, missing friends and family from home is a big one. But I don't know. I've studied abroad before, and I've been abroad for a year once and 9 months on another occasion. So I'm kind of used to being abroad and away for extended periods of time. And so really, that has kind of decreased the difficulty or pain of being away from friends and family. But even bigger than that is just this handy guy. I have a working iPhone, and I get 3G everywhere, so I can just WhatsApp all my friends and family, and I can FaceTime and iMessage. And like even right now I have internet connection, so I can make this video for you and upload it to YouTube and talk to you all. So there are lots of technological resources out there to help with communication, and even if you are physically very far apart, it makes the distance seem much, much less. Okay, so that was about 18 minutes for only one question, so I'm sorry that I couldn't be more concise, but I hope I touched on everything that you wanted from that first question. And I'll end this video here and start a new one for question number 2. Adios.